What's going on, everybody? How y'all feel? You're tuning into another great episode of Male Translations with your boy Clarence Brown. Now tonight I had to dedicate this video to all the women of success, all the women that are striving for greatness, that seem to feel like men, we intimidated by a woman of success. That, you know, once a woman reaches a certain status, that we're intimidated by her position. Now I don't feel like that personally, but I do know it's a lot of cases where women seem to have this feeling that, you know, once they reach a height or a certain level, that we as men, we get intimidated by it. So, you know, what I did was I went down to Fort Myers, spoke with a great friend of mine, Rochelle Campbell, face of her own business and CEO. Alikay Naturals, a natural hair product. It's in stores all across the nation, from Targets to Sally Beauty Supply to Bed Bath & Beyond, you name it, man. So, you know, I had to chop it up with her and see how she felt about that perception that women have about men, and then also how she deals with keeping her own family and her marriage intact while being a woman of success. So y'all take this time, man. Please check this video out. Like, comment, share. Also subscribe. And y'all bear with me, man. Check this video out and see what y'all think, man. Let go. What's going on, everybody? How y'all feel? It's Male Translation tuning into again with your boy Clarence Brown. Now, today I have an awesome guest with me. I'm so blessed to be able to sit down and record this conversation with you. It's been a long time I've been trying to get you, but I know your schedule is so tight. You know, you be everywhere. You kind of harder to get than a winning lottery ticket nowadays. But, you know, I'm just so blessed to have been able to take the time with you. We have the beautiful, successful, lovely, always hardworking, and one of a kind, Rochelle Campbell.
Thank you.
Let me get my hugs in.
Yes.
Cool. So the reason why I wanted to bring you on this afternoon is because I wanted to, one, show the viewers and subscribers a picture of young black success. You know, especially nowadays when you have things going in Baltimore, Ferguson, a lot of depiction of black women, black men is negative at this time. So I wanted to kind of touch and give the viewers a chance to get insight on what it's like to be successful, especially being black and being a woman as well. So I'm just going to jump right into it. There's a couple questions that I wanted to ask you, and one starting out with is, like, with you being a successful woman, and I know that it's been a long journey and it's still a journey to go, like, was there ever a point when you were, how can I say, just trying to build your business where you thought, man, this probably ain't gonna work? Because you know how it is when you're a business owner. It's rough, it's tough, and there's a lot of uncertainty in it. So can you talk about, like, some of the times where you might have felt like, oh man, this isn't gonna work, and how you got through those moments?
Sure. So of course, you know, my husband Damon and I, we run our business together. So the good thing and the positive thing that I had is in those moments, at least I had him to kind of lean on, and we're going through it, you know, together as a team. But there was so many days that I felt that way, and this is why I continuously remind people now that you never give up. Just take those experiences in those days, like they're roadblocks, they're hurdles. If you have to get on the floor and cry for a minute, pull yourself together and keep going. We went through a lot of that more than I think most people starting a business would, because when Damon and I started in college, we started our business with no capital, and so we have been bootstrapping our business now for almost 8 years. So 7 years, 7 years. So we've been bootstrapping our business for, you know, almost 7 years, and that takes a lot of work, and it also takes a lot of bravery. So, you know, there'll be days that, okay, so we didn't make enough this week in selling products to be able to pay for this and pay for that and handle this and handle that. And so those type of things and emotions will make you feel beaten down all the time, but you have to keep pushing through. But yes, I've been through there, but I can look back now and say that I survived those multiple days of being tested.
That's great. That's great. Now, being a CEO and, you know, the face of your business, I want to ask, how do you balance, like, having a family, being married, also running a business? Like, we now at your salon, you know, so I don't know if you guys can hear some of the background noise, but we're at the salon that you own yourself. So talk about balancing your family and your business at the same time.
Okay, so that honestly, first of all, one of the things that I've had to tell myself as of this year is that it really is not about balance. It's really a juggle. It's an organized juggle, because in truth and fact, when when I had it in my head that I needed to balance everything, I almost broke because it was so much pressure. Because I was like, okay, I need to spend equal time in all these areas.
Right.
But the moment that I allowed myself to take a step back and just do what worked best for me and my lifestyle, it's been great. So I do have my husband. We've been married for 6, 7, 8 years almost. Yeah, so coming up on 8 years, and I have we have a 3-year-old son together, and then I'm running 2 companies, and then I still have to be a friend. I still have to be a family member to my mom, and you know, so it's definitely it's difficult at times. But what has worked for me is finding a way to at least have 2 at high priorities at all times. So for instance, like I would say, for instance, the mommy time with Landon, and then making sure that I kept my business going. And then there's days where, okay, my business switched. Now it's time for business and Damon. Yeah, business and then Damon, and then switch. And then it's, you know, Landon and Damon, and then switch. So it's just always a rotation. And then, okay, so this week I'm going to fit my friends in, and then my business switch. So it's literally a juggling act. But at all times I have 2 high. The rest I never let go of. I still keep them in rotation. It's just that you have to find what has the highest priority and put them up and handle it at that time. Now, I always give equal attention to all areas of my life, but one of the most important things that I would say to anyone is one mistake that I made, I forgot myself in that factor. For years and years, it was always husband, child, business, family, friends, and no Rochelle. And so now I'm learning to incorporate myself back into my schedule. So that's an advice that I would give someone starting early.
Okay, now you speaking about the juggling act, and it just sparked up a question in my head, right? Because I know we've spoken about how, you know, when women are successful, a lot of times their husbands, they don't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they get kind of, you know, they turn a little bit, and it gets kind of funny because then they're like, well, dang, you know, the food ain't cooked. And, you know, like, well, dang, who going to take the trash and who going to wash the clothes?
Yes.
Like, what's going on? Like, okay, now you doing all this away. Where the house time now? Hey, this ain't what I got into.
Yes.
So how do you deal with that now, especially like when you're away? Does your husband ever get on you? Has he ever tripped like, well, you know, when you supposed to be back again?
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that I'm amazingly blessed with is a good husband who is friends with me. We are best friends. Communication is everything. One of the things,
what's up?
Hey, baby. But one of the things that has been so helpful is I tell people all the time, I'm not able to travel to all these places and do what I do if I didn't have a support team at home. To know that my best friend is having my best interest at heart, it allows me to do what I need to, and then when I come home, he doesn't have any guilt with it. One of the things that's also helped with our relationship is that we are partners in everything. And when we're home, if he knows, okay, so I may not be able to do laundry multiple times a week like most women, but I now had to take a step back and remember when to ask for help. And asking for help to make sure that my duties as a wife were still kept up with has been so majorly important. But when it comes to, you know, everything else, we work it out. He is like mom, dad when I'm away, and so Landon, our little gummy bear, has never had to miss out on anything. He's always had daddy there, and Damon is nurturing and he's loving, and he's like, okay, you know, all right, boy, time for your bath, time for you this, time for you that. He takes care of him, so when I'm not able to be there, he's there. So it's a partnership. And he's successful in his own right, because truly and honestly, we run this business together. He runs part of it, I run the other part of it. I just happen to be the CEO and the face as well. And he, you know,
he plays the background scenes.
Yeah, he plays the background scenes and holds it down. He sees things that I don't see, you know, with our business. He's very observant. So he has his strengths. I'm forever grateful for the fact that my husband gave up his career to be able to help me to pursue what my dream was. That takes a real man.
True, like, true indeed.
Yeah.
True indeed. Okay, so now I'm gonna get a little personal on you, right?
Okay.
So with you traveling and I'm seeing you over here in LA and you in Miami and you in New York and Vegas and Paris.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So how do you keep the flame in your relationship?
We keep the flame by knowing when to shut the world off and finding time for ourselves. Like seriously, I mean, when I say shut the world off, I mean literally no TV, no phones, everything. It's like, okay, Landon, you are going to grandma's house. It's not a question, you are going to grandma's house. And it allows, but for real, and my mom knows. When I call her and I'm like, hey mom, it's not like most people's lives where they have these cute once-a-month dates. We don't do that. Our lives we're just too busy for that. We can't. We're trying to build an empire. But when we do find time for ourselves, we're able to enjoy that time that we have, and we shut the world off. No social media, no phones, no nothing, because then we can sit and talk. And what made me fall in love, they always say go back to what made you fall in love in the first place, and what made me fall in love with Damon is conversations and talking to him. So being able to reconnect that way with him brings every spark and butterfly in my tummy back, and everything there from is good.
Right, all right, I bet.
Yes.
Everything is good at that point.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, all right, I'm going to ask you another, I don't know, off the wall question, but like with you being successful, like we spoke about earlier, what are some of the reasons why a man would feel intimidated by a successful woman, you think, in your words?
I think that some men feel, if a man feels intimidated by a stronger, successful woman, then that's something he's dealing with personally. That has nothing to do with the woman. It's a man issue.
But you know, so before you go on, like it's women that they have trouble finding men, and they feel as if it's because I am successful, because I have these things, and other men feel there's no place for them.
True. So it's two parts. First thing, as women, you have to remember, if you're alpha woman, you know, and for me, I don't use that term because I'm not an alpha woman. I'm just a really strong woman. I don't like that whole alpha thing, but you have to figure out what your role is in the marriage and in the relationship. For instance, with Damon and I, when it comes to business, I run things. I'm the CEO of the company, and he respects that. When I'm home, he runs things, because that's my husband. He's the leader of our household, and I respect that. Some women feel as if they want a man that's going to be a submissive man.
I ain't no employee now.
You're going to follow them around with a leash. It doesn't work that way. If that's what you're looking for, then be honest with yourself from the beginning, because otherwise your marriage is not going to work. So sometimes it has to do with the women. So secondly, a business should not build your ego so much that you forget you can't go home. Your pillow is not going to keep you warm at night. And your degree is not going to keep you warm at night. And those dollar bills won't keep you warm at night. So you have to remember that if you're striving and aiming for success, that's one part of your life. You have to remember that family at the end of it, and building that is priceless. So that's another thing. Third thing, sacrifice. As a woman, if you're trying to find a relationship with a good man, there is going to be sacrifice involved. I know that for me, we live in a small town in Fort Myers. I'm here and we're here because it's a great place for us to raise a family. My husband and I happen to settle here. Years ago, I was like, yeah, let's move. Let's go to Atlanta. I wanted to move to Atlanta for everything. And my husband's like, no. Yeah, he's like, no, we're not going. We're staying right here. And I had to say, okay, well, I chose to be married. So guess what? We're staying right here. He's not in the mood to compromise. Let me work with what I have. And honestly, it has been a blessing. And then from the man perspective,
go ahead.
But men, if a man feels like a strong woman is intimidating them, the only time I think that is relevant is when a man is not secure in himself. If he doesn't have anything going for him, then most of the time he becomes resentful of the wife, the person that he's with. Man, sir, just step it up. Find what your passion is so you can match her hustle. Don't be envious of it, and don't try to bring her down to your level. Let a powerful and successful woman think, man, she's with me. All right, let me bring myself up so we can now be a power couple together.
Right. Well, so I mean, I really agree with that, but I'm gonna just throw this in there too. That sometimes you have those scenarios where when they get to a certain height or a certain level, then they feel like, okay, well, you're not as valuable in my line of sight as you were when when I didn't have this business. So now that I've gotten successful, it's like you looking down on me now. You know, now we have a beautiful relationship, but then when you get that success, now it's like, okay, so what you doing? And so then that's the added pressure, and the man feels like, well, dang, you know, I thought it would be all right for me to still be you know, picking garbage and, you know, and doing this and doing that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just trying to give a example of how it is when a woman gets successful. So I do agree with exactly what you're saying, but I just also want to throw that out there that sometimes it's a dynamic where the women get to a height and it's like, well, bruh, well, come on.
But you know what though? Is it wrong for her to look at her husband and say, okay, so what are you doing?
It depends on how she does it. To me, it depends on how she does it.
Respect again, though, because if that's your husband, you have that level of respect for him. So you should never downplay him, especially in front of any public. You should never make him feel bad about the position he is. If you met a man, and this is why I think communication is important in the beginning of a relationship. If you met a man and he was stacking boxes for a living when you met him, and you know, but your career aspirations is to become a big-time lawyer and own this practice and blah 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 blah. If a man's career is a deal breaker for you, where you meet him, just take him at that and know that what if he stays here? Is that enough for me?
That's what I'm saying.
Because investing 10 years in and then being resentful of the fact that he never told you he was going to become an X, Y, and Z, then that's your problem.
Definitely. Now, I'm you know what I'm saying? You know, that's what it is. All right, so I mean, this is wonderful conversation. Like I said, Rochelle Brown Campbell, y'all need to Google her, check her out.
Yes.
CEO and founder of Alikay Naturals, also BlackOnyx.
I'll keep my company name.
Alikay. And so. No, but like I was saying, man, it's wonderful to sit down with you. I just want to ask, you know, if you have anything to say to the viewers as far as like upcoming events or things that they can check you out at and come see you.
Yes. So we do have a couple of things that are coming up. So of course, Alikay Naturals, we have a major announcement. Alikay Naturals is going to be expanding. We are now coming to an additional 600 Sally Beauty Supply stores nationwide. So officially, you're going to be able to find all of our 3 Essential 17 Growth Oil, Lemongrass Leave-In Conditioner, and the Creme Brulee Curling Delight in 1,100 Sally Beauty Supply stores in Canada, Puerto Rico, and the United States. And of course, you can still find us in Target as well, Target stores and Target.com, and Harmon's Bed Bath & Beyond stores in New York and New Jersey. So check us out, alikaynaturals.com. And don't forget, if you're in Florida, Fort Myers, then please come by my salon, Be Fabulous Salon. It is amazing. It's a full-service salon and day spa.
Where is that located?
Bye. We're in Fort Myers. Yeah, Fort Myers on Colonial and Fowler intersection.
Cool. Big things, big things.
Big things are going.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to hold you too long. I know you have a business to run, but I'm so happy to be able to take the time with you and just discuss some of those business and relationship questions, you know, because I know that it's you have a rare perspective, you know, being a business owner, being a CEO, and being a black woman as well. So that's why I felt it was interesting and very, very needed for me to sit down and speak with you. So I thank you so much. Everybody, please check this woman out. I love her to death.
Thanks for having me as well. It really, this was very fun. It was really good to be able to speak about things that I don't think anyone has really ever asked me. So this was a nice vibe.
Change it up a little bit, you know, not ask you the same things that everyone has always asked you.
Yeah, this is great.
But everybody, please check out Male Translations next week, man. It's your boy Clarence Brown, Rochelle Brown Campbell. Target stores, 500 across the country. Sally Beauty Supplies,
1,100.
1,100. Jeez, you get the numbers right. Numbers don't lie. But no, so like I said, check us out again next week. We thank y'all for tuning in. It's Clarence Brown Male Translations. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.